The Han Group International Convention Center stood proudly in the heart of Seoul, its glass walls sparkling beneath the afternoon sun. Luxury cars lined the entrance while reporters and photographers waited outside South Korea's most prestigious annual charity gala. Inside, crystal chandeliers illuminated the magnificent ballroom as the country's wealthiest businessmen, celebrities, and international investors slowly arrived. At the center of the ballroom stood a graceful woman in a breathtaking silver evening gown. Naomi. The elegant gown flowed perfectly around her as she walked confidently from table to table, making sure every detail was flawless. 5 years of hard work had transformed her into one of Seoul's most respected luxury event planners. Today's gala was the biggest contract her company had ever received. She refused to let anything go wrong. Director Naomi. One of her employees hurried over. The stage decorations are finished. Naomi smiled politely. What about the VIP tables? Everything is ready. The lighting? Already tested. She nodded with satisfaction. Excellent. Her best friend, Maya, approached carrying a guest list. You've checked everything 3 times already. Naomi laughed softly. That's because perfection isn't luck. It's preparation. Maya smiled. I don't know how you stay this calm. Naomi looked around the ballroom. I've learned not to panic. No one knew how true those words really were. 5 years earlier, she had lost the man she loved after he abandoned her for another woman. Instead of letting heartbreak destroy her, she rebuilt her life. She built her own company. And most importantly, she devoted every moment to raising her twin sons. Elsewhere inside the convention center, Daniel and David sat quietly inside the private family lounge, playing chess while waiting for their mother. Because their school had closed early, Naomi had brought them to the gala. Before leaving them, she had smiled gently. I'll come back as soon as the opening ceremony starts. We'll be here, Mommy, Daniel answered. David nodded happily. Naomi trusted them. Outside, a convoy of black luxury vehicles rolled to a stop. The atmosphere instantly changed. Security officers straightened. Reporters rushed forward. The rear door of the first limousine slowly opened. Han Woo-jin stepped onto the red carpet. The Korean billionaire. The chairman of Han Group. The man whose success had made headlines across Asia. Without looking at the cameras, he calmly walked into the convention center. His assistant followed closely. Chairman, everyone is waiting for your opening speech. Woo-ji nodded. I'll greet the investors first. The ballroom doors opened. Guests immediately turned toward him. Meanwhile, Naomi finished adjusting the final flower arrangement. She turned around after hearing the applause. Her smile disappeared. Standing only a few meters away was Han Woo-jin. For the first time in 5 years, their eyes met. Neither of them moved. Neither of them spoke. The noise inside the ballroom faded into silence. The man who had abandoned his wife had just found her again. Before we continue the story, please take a second to like the video, subscribe, and comment where you're watching from because the next chapter will reveal a shocking secret. Now let's continue the story. The applause inside the grand ballroom slowly faded as Han Woo-jin remained standing exactly where Naomi had left him. His eyes stayed fixed on the direction she had disappeared. 5 years. Not a single day had passed without remembering her. Yet seeing her again had stirred emotions he thought were long buried. His assistant stepped closer. Chairman, the VIP guests are waiting. Woo-jin finally looked away. I'll be there. But his mind remained elsewhere. Across the ballroom, Naomi took a deep breath before returning to work. She refused to let the unexpected reunion affect the biggest event of her career. She adjusted a centerpiece and smiled politely at several guests. Director Naomi. One of her employees hurried over. The charity auction begins in 20 minutes. Is everything ready? Yes. What about the guest seating? Already confirmed. Naomi nodded. Good. She continued walking through the ballroom as though nothing had happened. But Maya noticed the truth immediately. You saw him. Naomi forced a small smile. I'm working. You didn't answer me. Naomi stopped for a moment. I saw him. And I have nothing left to say to him. Before Maya could respond, a sudden wave of excitement spread across the ballroom. Guests turned toward the entrance. Camera flashes filled the room once again. Another VIP had arrived. The ballroom doors slowly opened. A stunning young woman stepped inside, wearing a luxurious ruby-red designer gown. Diamond earrings sparkled beneath the crystal chandeliers. Her confident smile immediately attracted attention. Sophia Choi. Several guests whispered her name. The famous fashion executive. I heard she's Chairman Han's girlfriend. They'll probably announce their engagement soon. Sophia acknowledged the guests with a graceful smile before walking confidently through the ballroom. She had attended the gala every year for the past 3 years. Everyone already considered her the future Mrs. Han. She spotted Wu Jin speaking with several investors. Her smile widened. Without hesitation, she walked over. Wu Jin. Several businessmen politely excused themselves. Sophia gently linked her arm with his. I've been looking everywhere for you. Wu Jin gave a polite smile. You arrived later than expected. I had an interview. She laughed softly. I hope you weren't lonely. Wu Jin didn't answer. Instead, his eyes drifted across the ballroom, looking for Naomi. Sophia immediately noticed. She followed his gaze. At the far side of the ballroom, Naomi was discussing the auction schedule with hotel staff. Sophia frowned slightly. Who is she? Wu Jin remained silent. I asked you a question. The event director. Only the event director? His silence lasted a little too long. Sophia knew him well. Very well. He never looked at strangers that way. She smiled politely. But inside, a seed of jealousy had already been planted. Across the ballroom, Naomi looked up for only a second. Her eyes landed on Wu Jin, standing beside another woman. Elegant, beautiful, confident. The sight made her heart ache for only a brief moment. Then she looked away. That chapter of her life had ended 5 years ago. Maya quietly stepped beside her. Is that her? Naomi nodded once. I think so. The woman he chose. Naomi didn't answer. She simply continued reviewing the event schedule. Meanwhile, Sophia wasn't finished asking questions. Wu Jin. You've been distracted ever since I arrived. I'm thinking about business. She smiled. I don't believe you. Again, his eyes wandered toward Naomi. Sophia finally understood. The woman across the ballroom wasn't just another event planner. She meant something. Something important. Later that afternoon, the charity auction officially began. Guests filled the ballroom. The atmosphere became lively as priceless artwork and luxury jewelry were presented on stage. Naomi stood near the backstage entrance, making sure everything ran smoothly. Every announcement, every lighting cue, every performance passed exactly according to schedule. She felt proud. Her company had exceeded every expectation. Not far away, Wu Jin watched her from the VIP table. He barely listened to the auction. He watched the way she confidently directed her staff, the way everyone respected her, the way she smiled professionally despite carrying pain he could still see in her eyes. 5 years had changed her. Sophia followed his gaze again. This time, she wasn't smiling anymore. She quietly called one of her personal assistants. I want information. On who, Miss Choi? She looked directly at Naomi, the event director. I want everything. Her name, her company, her past. I don't care how long it takes. The assistant nodded. I'll begin immediately. Sophia ended the conversation. A calm smile returned to her face. But behind that smile, she had already decided. Whoever that woman was, she wasn't going to let her get close to Han Wu Jin. Not now. Not ever. Across the ballroom, Naomi suddenly felt someone watching her. She looked around. Her eyes briefly met Sophia's. Neither woman smiled. Neither spoke. But both understood something important. From this moment onward, their paths had officially crossed, and neither of them intended to step aside. 2 days later, Star Avenue Mall was crowded with families enjoying the warm afternoon. Naomi stepped through the entrance with a gentle smile on her face. Unlike the past few days, today wasn't about work. It was about keeping a promise. She checked her phone. I'm here. Less than a minute later, two identical little boys came running toward her. Mom, Daniel reached her first. David wrapped his arms around her waist a second later. Naomi laughed warmly and hugged them both. My handsome boys. Did you wait long? Daniel shook his head. No. We've been counting people. David smiled proudly. I counted 123. Naomi laughed. Really? I lost count after 50, Daniel admitted. She held both of their hands. So, who's hungry? Me. Both boys answered together. Naomi smiled. I had a feeling. The three walked toward the food court. Along the way, they stopped inside a sporting goods store. Daniel immediately ran toward the soccer section. Mom, look, I found the shoes I wanted. Naomi examined them carefully. You've wanted these for months. Daniel nodded excitedly. I've been saving my allowance. Naomi smiled proudly. Then you've earned them. David looked around another aisle. What about me? Naomi laughed. I haven't forgotten you. She walked over and handed him a remote control racing car. David's eyes became wide. For me, if your grades stay this good. He hugged her tightly. Thank you, Mommy. Nearby customers smiled while watching the happy family. Across the city, Han Woojin had just finished signing another major business agreement. His assistant closed the contract folder. Chairman, your next meeting has been postponed. Woojin looked up. For how long? Almost 2 hours. He nodded once. I'll get some coffee. The assistant followed him toward Star Avenue Mall. Back inside the mall, Naomi and the twins found seats beside a small restaurant. Pizza arrived first, then juice, then ice cream. David happily raised his spoon. This is the best day ever. Daniel laughed. You say that every weekend. Because every weekend is the best. Naomi couldn't stop smiling. Watching her son's laugh always reminded her why she had kept moving forward. No matter how difficult life became, they made everything worth it. Not far away, Woojin entered the same restaurant after ordering coffee. He wasn't paying attention to the crowd. His mind was still filled with questions about Naomi. Why had she disappeared? Why had she never contacted him? Then, a familiar laugh reached his ears. He slowly turned. Several tables away, Naomi sat between two little boys. She was laughing, the genuine laugh he hadn't heard in years. For a moment, Woojin forgot about his coffee, forgot about business, forgot about everything. He simply watched. Daniel accidentally dropped a slice of pizza. David burst into laughter. Naomi playfully shook her head. Boys, what did we agree about? No playing with food. The twins immediately apologized. Sorry, Mommy. She smiled. It's all right. But next time, use your mouths. The three laughed together. Woojin quietly smiled without realizing it. His assistant noticed. I haven't seen you smile like that in years. Woojin didn't answer. His attention remained fixed on Naomi. The assistant looked toward the family. Do you know those children? Woojin slowly shook his head. No, I've never seen them before. He watched Daniel help his younger brother clean the table. Well-mannered, respectful, polite. Their mother had clearly raised them well. Meanwhile, Sophia Choi walked out of a luxury jewelry boutique carrying several shopping bags. She had planned to meet Woojin for coffee. Instead, she found him standing completely still, looking at someone else. Her eyes followed his gaze. Naomi. Again. Sophia's expression changed immediately. Then she noticed the two boys sitting beside Naomi. She frowned. Children, one of her assistants quietly asked. Miss Choi, should we leave? Sophia slowly shook her head. No. She continued watching. Naomi gently wiped ice cream from David's face. Daniel laughed. He's always messy. I'm not. You are. Naomi smiled. No teasing. The twins immediately stopped arguing. Sophia folded her arms. She wasn't jealous of the children. She was jealous of the smile on Woojin's face. It was a smile she had spent 5 years trying to receive. Yet, he was giving it to another woman. Without saying a single word, Sophia quietly took out her phone. She called her private investigator. I need another favor. Yes, Miss Choi. The woman from the gala. I want every detail. And this time, she looked directly at Daniel and David. I want to know who those two be. She looked directly at Daniel and David. I want to know who those two boys are. She ended the call. Her eyes never left Naomi. Neither did Woojin's. Neither of them realized that this ordinary afternoon inside a shopping mall would become the beginning of a truth that could change all of their lives forever. 3 days later, Han Woojin sat inside the chairman's office, but the mountain of documents on his desk remained untouched. For the first time in years, business no longer held his attention. His assistant entered. Chairman, we've located Director Naomi's office. Woojin stood immediately. Cancel my afternoon schedule. Chairman, you have a meeting with the Japanese investors. Cancel it. The assistant was stunned. That meeting had taken months to arrange. Yes, Chairman. At Nova Events, Naomi had just finished discussing a luxury hotel project with her team. Everyone left the conference room except Maya. You've looked distracted all morning. Naomi smiled faintly. I'm fine. Before Maya could reply, the receptionist rushed in. Director Naomi. Chairman Han is here. The room fell silent. Naomi closed her notebook. Tell him I'm busy. But I said I'm busy. The receptionist nodded and hurried away. Outside, Wu Jin waited patiently. 5 minutes passed. 10 minutes. Finally, Naomi stepped out. She looked at him calmly. What do you want? I came to apologize. You already did. I wasn't sincere enough. She almost laughed. Sincere? Wu Jin, the day you believed another woman instead of your own wife. That was your answer. He lowered his head. I know. No, you don't. She turned to leave. Naomi. She stopped but didn't look back. I've regretted it every single day. She answered quietly. And I've lived with it every single day. Then she walked away. For the first time, Wu Jin realized an apology wasn't enough. That evening, Sophia waited inside an elegant rooftop restaurant. She had reserved the entire terrace. Fresh flowers covered the table. Soft violin music filled the air. Wu Jin finally arrived. You wanted to see me. Sophia smiled. I wanted us to spend time together. He remained standing. I won't stay long. Her smile slowly faded. Were you with Naomi today? Wu Jin looked directly into her eyes. Yes. Sophia closed her eyes. I knew it. You still love her. I never stopped. The words felt like a knife. So what am I? Wu Jin answered honestly. A mistake I should have corrected sooner. Sophia's eyes filled with tears. You embarrassed your wife for me. You abandoned her for me. And now, you're abandoning me? Wu Jin remained silent. His silence was enough. Sophia laughed bitterly. Do you think she'll forgive you? I don't know. But I have to try. Sophia slowly stood. Then hear me carefully. Naomi may forgive the man she once loved. But I never will. She leaned closer. And if I can't have you, I'll make sure she doesn't either. Wu Jin's expression darkened. Don't involve her. Sophia smiled through her tears. You should have thought about that before today. She picked up her handbag and walked away. Wu Jin watched her leave. He knew something had just changed. Sophia wasn't walking away peacefully. She was walking away with revenge in her heart. Outside the restaurant, Sophia wiped away her tears before getting into her car. She picked up her phone. Fine, Naomi. I don't care what it costs. I want every secret she's hiding. She ended the call. Far across the city, Naomi had no idea. The greatest battle of her life was about to begin. 5 days later, a quiet riverside cafe overlooked the Han River as people enjoyed the peaceful afternoon. Naomi sat across from an important client, discussing the final details of a luxury hotel project. The meeting ended successfully. Director Naomi, we look forward to working with Nova Events. So do I. After shaking hands, Naomi walked out of the cafe. She had barely taken a few steps when a familiar voice stopped her. Naomi. She closed her eyes for a brief second, then turned around. Han Wujin stood a few meters away. He wasn't wearing his usual expensive suit. For the first time, he looked less like a billionaire, and more like a man carrying years of regret. Naomi sighed softly. Chairman Han, I asked you not to call me that. You lost the right to ask. Her answer left him speechless. He slowly walked closer. I know you don't want to see me. Then why are you here? Because I can't keep pretending you're just another person. Naomi folded her arms. What do you want? I want another chance. She laughed quietly. A painful laugh. You've already asked me that. I'm asking again. The answer hasn't changed. She walked past him. Wu Jin quickly followed. Please. Naomi stopped. People passing by began noticing them. She lowered her voice. Don't make a scene. I'm not leaving until you listen. She looked directly into his eyes. I listened 5 years ago, when you believed another woman instead of your wife. It's my turn to stop listening. She continued walking. Wu Jin remained behind. His shoulders slowly dropped. For the first time in his life, money, power, influence, none of it could help him. That evening, rain slowly began falling across Seoul. Wu Jin sat alone inside his penthouse. Every room felt empty. His phone rested on the table. He opened an old photo album. The first picture, Naomi smiling during their honeymoon. The second, Naomi laughing while cooking. The third, Naomi asleep on the sofa after waiting for him to come home. He covered his face with one hand. What have I done? A single tear landed on the photograph. Across the city, Naomi arrived home. Daniel and David immediately ran toward her. Mom, she smiled warmly. Someone missed me. We both did. David hugged her tightly. Daniel noticed her expression. Mom, are you sad? Naomi quickly forced a smile. No, I'm just tired. The twins looked at each other. Neither believed her. The following afternoon, rain fell heavily in Seoul. Woo Jin returned to Nova Events. This time, he didn't ask to see Naomi. He simply waited outside. Almost an hour later, she walked out carrying several documents. She immediately noticed him. You again? I promised I wouldn't stop trying. Naomi shook her head. Woo Jin, you don't understand. No, I understand now. I understand exactly how badly I failed you. I understand that I destroyed our marriage. I understand that I trusted the wrong person. He took one slow step closer. I was a terrible husband. I'm asking you, please, let me spend the rest of my life making it right. Naomi remained completely silent. He continued, I'll wait. A month, a year, 10 years. I don't care. I'll wait. Naomi finally answered. You shouldn't. Why? Because you'll be waiting for something that no longer exists. His heart tightened. I still love you. Naomi slowly shook her head. I don't. The words landed like a hammer. I buried those feelings 5 years ago. The woman who loved you stayed behind the day you abandoned her. Another silence followed. Rain clouds slowly gathered above them. Woo Jin looked at her desperately. So, I'm really too late. Naomi looked away. Yes, you are. She walked toward her car. This time, Woo Jin didn't chase her. He simply watched her leave. For the first time, he finally accepted one painful truth. Winning back Naomi would be harder than losing everything he owned. As Naomi drove away, she looked into the rearview mirror. Woo Jin was still standing in the same place. Alone. Broken. But she forced herself not to stop. Because there was one secret she still hadn't told him. And when he finally discovered it, everything would change. 1 week later, the afternoon traffic moved slowly through downtown Seoul. Inside Han Group headquarters, Han Woo Jin sat through another board meeting. Chairman, one of the executives looked at him. We're waiting for your decision. Woo Jin blinked. For the first time in years, he hadn't heard a single word of the presentation. I'm sorry. Continue. The meeting ended 20 minutes later. As everyone stood to leave, Lee Jun remained behind. Chairman, you've barely slept this week. Woo Jin gave a tired smile. I know. You should rest. I'll rest after I fix what I destroyed. Lee Jun sighed. He had never seen the chairman like this. Across the city, Naomi had promised the twins a relaxing afternoon after their weekly tests. Mom, can we go to the aquarium? Daniel asked hopefully. David quickly nodded. You promised. Naomi laughed. I remember. Less than an hour later, the three of them entered Seoul's famous aquarium. Children pressed against the enormous glass tanks while colorful fish swam overhead. Daniel pointed excitedly. Look, a shark. David grabbed Naomi's hand. I want to see it. The twins ran ahead. Don't run too far. Naomi called after them. We won't. They answered together. Meanwhile, Han Group had become the newest sponsor of the aquarium's children's education program. Woo Jin arrived for a brief inspection with several executives. The manager smiled. Chairman Han, thank you for supporting today's program. Woo Jin nodded politely. As they walked through the main tunnel, his attention wandered. He wasn't looking at the fish. He was thinking about Naomi. Again. Then, a familiar laugh echoed through the tunnel. His heart skipped a beat. He slowly turned. Several meters away, Naomi stood smiling while Daniel and David pointed excitedly at a giant sea turtle. Woo Jin stopped walking. The executives continued ahead before realizing he wasn't following. Chairman, he didn't answer. He couldn't. The twins looked so happy. Naomi looked peaceful. For several seconds, he simply watched. Then, David noticed a small penguin exhibit across the hall. Mom, come on. He started running. David, Naomi called. Slow down. At that exact moment, another little child accidentally bumped into David. The force pushed both children toward a wet section of the floor. David slipped. Everything happened in seconds. Without thinking, Woo Jin ran. He reached David just before the little boy hit the ground. Strong hands caught him safely. David looked up with wide eyes. Mister, Woo Jin knelt. Are you all right? David nodded. I think so. Naomi hurried over. David, she immediately checked him for injuries. Are you hurt? He smiled. No. This mister caught me. Naomi looked up. Their eyes met again. This time, there was no anger, only surprise. Wu Jin slowly helped David stand. I think he's okay. Naomi gently pulled David closer. Thank you. Wu Jin smiled faintly. You don't have to thank me. I couldn't just stand there. Daniel walked over. David, I told you not to run. I'm sorry. The twins looked almost identical. Wu Jin noticed it immediately. He smiled. You two are brothers? Daniel answered proudly. We're twins. Wu Jin chuckled. I should have guessed. You look exactly alike. The twins laughed. Naomi's smile slowly disappeared. She knew this conversation couldn't continue. Come on, boys. We should go. David looked back at Wu Jin. Thank you for saving me, mister. Wu Jin smiled warmly. You're welcome. For some strange reason, watching the little boy smile made his chest feel warm. A feeling he couldn't explain. Naomi nodded politely. Goodbye, Chairman Han. Before Wu Jin could say another word, she led the twins away. He watched until they disappeared into the crowd. Not far away, Sophia stood on the second-floor balcony. She had come to the aquarium after learning Han Group was holding an inspection. Instead, she witnessed everything. She saw Wu Jin save the little boy. She saw him smiling, a smile she hadn't seen in years. Her hands slowly tightened around her handbag. This is because of her, she whispered. Her phone rang. It was the private investigator. Miss Choi, I finally found something. Sophia's eyes narrowed. What is it? The boys. I couldn't find their father's name. There are no records. It's completely blank. Sophia became very still. No father's name? None. She slowly smiled. Interesting. Very interesting. She ended the call, then looked toward the exit where Naomi had disappeared with the twins. I don't know what you're hiding, but I promise, I'm going to uncover every secret. Far outside the aquarium, Naomi buckled Daniel and David into the back seat. As she closed the car door, she looked back toward the entrance. For a brief moment, she saw Wu Jin standing alone, still watching. She quickly looked away and drove off. Neither of them realized the biggest truth between them was now only one step away from being revealed. 2 days later, a cool evening breeze swept across the Han River as Naomi arrived at a quiet riverside park with Daniel and David. The twins laughed while chasing each other across the open grass. Mom, watch this. Daniel kicked a soccer ball toward David. Naomi smiled. I'm watching. For the first time in days. She looked peaceful. A few minutes later, a black luxury sedan stopped near the park. Han Wu Jin stepped out. He wasn't alone. Li Jun followed behind him carrying a small envelope. Naomi immediately understood. This wasn't a coincidence. Wu Jin slowly approached. His voice was shaking. Naomi. She didn't answer. Instead, she watched him carefully. He held out the envelope. I found the truth. Naomi looked at it, but didn't take it. I don't need to see it. I already lived it. Wu Jin lowered the envelope. My investigator discovered everything. The hospital records. The dates. The pregnancy. He looked toward the playground, then whispered, They're my sons. Naomi finally nodded. Yes. Silence filled the park. Wu Jin covered his face. For several seconds, nothing could be heard except his quiet sobbing. I abandoned you when you were carrying my children. Naomi's eyes became watery. You didn't just abandon me. You abandoned them. He slowly walked toward Daniel and David. The twins stopped playing. They looked curiously at the stranger. Wu Jin knelt until he was at their eye level. His voice cracked. He couldn't finish. Tears rolled down his face. Naomi gently completed the sentence. Boys, this is your father. Daniel looked surprised. Our dad. David looked at Wu Jin. Really? Wu Jin nodded. I'm so sorry. I should have been there. For your first birthday. Your first day of school. Every moment. I failed both of you. David quietly asked. Did we do something wrong? Wu Jin immediately shook his head. No, you did nothing wrong. I was the one who made the mistake. Daniel slowly stepped closer. You cried. Wu Jin smiled through his tears. Because I finally realized what I lost. Before anyone could speak again, a voice interrupted them. So this is where everyone is. Sophia. She walked toward them angrily. You really chose her over me? Wu Jin stood. This has nothing to do with you anymore. Sophia laughed bitterly. Nothing. I sacrificed everything for you. Naomi looked calmly at her. No, You sacrificed someone else's happiness. Sophia pointed at Naomi. You think you've won? Wu Jin's voice became firm. Enough. He looked directly at Sophia. I know the truth. You lied to me. You destroyed my marriage. You destroyed my family. Sophia tried to deny it. I only wanted. I don't care what you wanted. For 5 years. I blamed the wrong person. Never come near Naomi. Or my children again. Sophia realized there was nothing left to say. She looked around. No one stood beside her. She turned and walked away alone. The sound of her heels slowly disappeared into the distance. Wu Jin watched her leave, then turned back toward Naomi. Without hesitation, he dropped to his knees. Naomi, I don't deserve forgiveness. I don't deserve another chance. But I'm begging you. Let me spend the rest of my life making up for what I did. Naomi looked down at him. 5 years ago, she had begged him to believe her. He hadn't listened. Today, life had reversed their roles. She took a slow breath. I forgive you. Hope appeared in Wu Jin's eyes. Then she continued. But forgiveness doesn't mean we belong together. His smile disappeared. You broke something inside me. I learned how to live without you. I won't go backwards. Wu Jin slowly nodded. He understood. The pain he caused could never be erased. Naomi looked toward the twins. They need a father. I will never stop you from loving them. But I won't become your wife again. Wu Jin wiped away his tears. I understand. I'll never ask again. I'll only ask to be their father. Naomi smiled gently. That decision is theirs too. Daniel looked at David. Then both boys looked at Wu Jin. David quietly reached for his hand. You can come to my soccer games. Daniel nodded. And my math competitions. Wu Jin broke down crying again. I'll never miss another one. The twins hugged him. For the first time, he held his sons in his arms. Not as a billionaire. Not as a chairman. Simply, as their father. Naomi watched the scene quietly. A small smile appeared on her face. She hadn't gotten the husband she deserved. But her sons would finally have the father they deserved. As the sun slowly disappeared beyond the Han River, the four of them walked toward the parking lot. Not as husband and wife, but as two parents determined to give their sons the future they had almost lost. The end. Thank you so much for watching this story all the way to the end. We truly appreciate your time and support. If you enjoyed this emotional journey, don't forget to like the video, leave a comment from where you're watching from, and subscribe to the channel so you won't miss the next amazing story. Your support helps us create more heartwarming, dramatic, and unforgettable stories for you. Have a wonderful day, stay safe, and we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for watching. Red Heart.